special. Ooh, I just found my tempo like on DJ.
Welcome to Super Sunday. I'm Tom Scavetta, joined alongside Greg Vavernek and Drew Abrahams, and we're going to zero in on Super Bowl 50, where the Denver Broncos are taking on the Carolina Panthers. So let's jump into quarter one here, where we're going to go over a little flashback to last week and over the playoffs overall. So, Drew, I didn't know it was illegal to kill birds in Carolina, but Cam Newton soared through these entire playoffs. What are your thoughts about that?
You know, they say you learn something new every day. I did not know that it was illegal to kill birds in Carolina, but after watching that game, it makes sense. Those buffalo wings that I ate, they were just like those Cardinals. They had no chance. You know, and the week before that, the previous week, the Seattle Seahawks, no chance.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is Cam Newton just every week comes to play, does not need his top target. Kelvin Benjamin was out the whole season, got injured during the preseason, and he was able to perform how he wanted to perform. And that defense, I don't think Peyton Manning has seen a kind of defense like this, especially the form, especially not 1998 form. He only threw his first touchdown last week.
Right,
on
exactly.
The opening drive.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's talk about Peyton Manning a little bit. Peyton Manning rode on his horse last week in that AFC Championship game, soared right through New England, Greg.
Absolutely. Now, the sheriff, as they call him nowadays, which I didn't realize until last week or so, the stats don't really jump out too much when you look at his postseason numbers. Only 398 yards combined and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions, though, which is always a good sign for any quarterback. But really, everyone is always noticing that this is the time now where Peyton Manning is at the end of the road. And even you heard the audio from NFL Network that this could be his last go-around in the NFL. I congratulate Bill Belichick at the end of the game. The numbers don't stack up and really stand out to you, but really it's all about the team as a whole. So it's really just a matter of how he performs and does the veteran minimum to do what he can just to move the chains, get the team going, and really make sure that the Denver Broncos are in a good place to win.
Definitely. That's a great point, Greg. So now we'll transition into quarter two. Let's go over some of these weigh-ins here real quick. Drew, you want to give us a little bit of insight about Cam Newton?
Like I said, Cam Newton is a great ball player. I believe he should be the MVP this season. He led the Panthers to his 15-1 record. Perfect in nearly every game. Without, like I said before, without his target. But he has to remember, and people have to remember that the defense was a big help for that. I don't think Peyton Manning has versed a defense all year. Hasn't versed a defense all year that they could rush up the middle like this or from the edges.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. You said it. You said it, Drew. So, Greg, Peyton Manning.
Now, Peyton Manning really is one of the guys that he has a very historic career, great numbers all around, and he's really done everything he can. But this year's been a little bit different. He hasn't done too much in terms of touchdowns and interceptions. It's really more of him just doing like the minimum. He just moves the chains, hasn't had too much success, does a lot more with his running backs and features the defense more than anything. So it's really just about him doing what he can and making sure the team does everything else for him.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see. So let's talk about each team's defense. Carolina's defense and Denver's defense. What are you guys' thoughts on that? We'll start with Drew.
Luke Kuechly is a great ball player, too, as well. He was drafted, I believe, 9th overall at Boston College, the highest middle linebacker ever taken, and that is for a reason. When your defense gets the middle linebacker, it slowly molds around it, and that's why they're able to perform and communicate so well. Kawan Short, defensive tackle, 11 sacks, a name to look out for that nobody knows, including myself. I do not know who he is. He's a great ball player, though. Great ball player. Don't you have to agree on that one?
I'd have to say so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, give credit when credit's due.
I don't know. What do you think, Greg?
Well, in terms of the defense, is really where do you start for the Denver Broncos? They have playmakers all around. You have guys, just in linebackers, Von Miller, fantastic season, 11 sacks, near the top of the league. DeMarcus Ware, a veteran, who's finally going to his first Super Bowl. And especially the secondary, tremendous secondary. T.J. Ward, Darian Stewart, and the 2 Pro Bowl, or what should have been Pro Bowl corners, Aqib Talib and Chris Harris, a guy that gets no mention. This is a shutdown defense. They can rush the passer. They can stop the run. They can do really anything that you need to because they have playmakers on every position on the defense, and they know exactly what to do.
All right, so I think we each have a good grasp on what's going to happen in the Super Bowl. So we're going to step away for a little bit. We hope you enjoyed the first half of our Super Sunday pregame show. We're going to throw it to Christina and Nick for the halftime show, and we'll be right back.
Welcome to the halftime portion. I'm Nick, and this is Christina, and we're here to talk about the halftime show. So Coldplay is performing this year, and they're talking about special guest Beyonce, Bruno Mars, and you were also saying about Rihanna.
Yeah, possibly. It's rumored.
All right,
we're not too sure yet.
That's pretty cool.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on Coldplay actually doing the halftime?
Okay, I'm not a big fan of Coldplay.
Okay.
So personally, I don't think they're gonna put on a good performance. I just don't feel like.
I disagree with you.
People,
Just because now I've been to a Coldplay concert and I am a fan of the band, and so maybe a little biased, but their show, honestly, their show is really incredible. And what they do with lights, and they have everyone in the crowd wear a different type of wristband that they'll give at the door, and it just lights up and it syncs to the song, and it's just like a really cool, entertaining show.
It appeal for the TV.
I think so. If Katy Perry could intrigue us when she's dancing on
with
some
sharks,
tiger,
don't even.
and she's dancing with sharks, it was a very
That was
know.
interesting.
But it was a cool performance. I think that
cool.
Coldplay will be able to bring what they do in their live show to also to the football stadium.
I hope so.
Yeah, and what are your thoughts now? Do you think they recently just did a music video with Beyonce?
Yeah.
Him for the Weekend, I believe.
Him
the
for
song.
the Weekend, yeah.
Yeah, was the name of the song, and they said there were some things about cultural appropriation in there, where they had shot the video in India, and Beyonce was dressing in Indian,
like,
traditional
their
culture,
clothing.
like clothing. Yeah. So, what are your thoughts? Do you think that will affect viewership for the halftime performance?
Not at all. First of all, I don't think it was cultural appropriation. I mean, they were in India and they were showing a culture. If anything, I think they were upholding. Appreciating the culture. I don't think anything. So, but I don't really think it will affect viewers at all.
Well, I think that in the sense of the show, I think that because of what they recently did, it will definitely piss off and has pissed off some people, and so that will affect some viewership. But I think majority, we're all going to be able to just appreciate the greatness of the halftime performance. If it is great, hopefully it is great.
Yeah, I know. I love halftime. That's like one of my favorite parts.
Yeah,
because everybody like sits down. Oh, come on, the music. No, but it's
a great part.
Everybody
really,
actually really gets into it. So.
Yeah, it's entertaining, especially if the game is like a bust.
And
Hopefully
Lady Gaga too. Lady Gaga's also singing. She's singing the national anthem. Yes, it's in the beginning, but I'm excited for that part.
That's going to be really exciting to see how she's able to do it, because she has so many different styles that she does, whether it's just, jazz that she's been recently doing with Tony Bennett, or if it's going to be like the traditional pop that she's been doing. So it's going to be interesting to see just the whole show in itself. I think it's going to be
does Bruno Mars and Coldplay have a song? I'm trying to figure out where Bruno Mars will be coming in.
I'm not sure on that either, but I think it's going to be exciting. It's cool to see that Beyonce and Bruno Mars, who were both, halftime performers,
they both were,
come back and do a show with Coldplay. I think is going to help just overall the Super Bowl in itself in viewership, because Bruno's going to bring his fans, Beyonce's bringing her fans. Coldplay, and of course just the Super Bowl in itself, and of course those ridiculous commercials that are like $5 million. It's just whatever. But I think it's gonna be a good halftime.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be good too.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Hope you guys are excited for it. Yeah.
So now, who would you want to see perform in the next Super Bowl halftime?
Ooh, I mean, I don't know. There's this guy Nick Tangora who I think is just phenomenal, and I would totally watch if he was. Now, I don't know. I'm trying to think like who would be good, and I think that a lot of the people I would have already recommended have really already done it.
Yeah.
Someone I think who could be cool. I don't know if it fits exactly style wise, but just fame wise, like Adele would be like.
Oh, Adele
just
would.
The
That'd be
fame
so
that she has,
different.
I just don't think that her songs would fit for the
probably
halftime
not.
performance, but I think she'd be amazing doing the national anthem.
Yeah.
So
but it'd be
cool.
kind of boring if Adele did it, because she doesn't have that like spark,
Well,
she just kind of stands there.
It's a different.
Sings.
Well, yeah, but her voice,
it's enough.
speaks for itself. It's a different type of show. I think when it comes to the halftime, you're looking for a show based on excitement and stuff like that. You're not looking for the most amount of vocal talent that Adele definitely has. But,
yeah, I want to see Justin Timberlake, to be honest.
Well, he's already done it.
He did?
Yeah, with Janet Jackson.
How long ago was this?
That was a while ago.
Okay, so I didn't really watch.
Oh
Okay,
gosh,
so that's all we
it's gonna
have.
be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. All right, so now back to the guys in the booth.
Yes.
Check me. Back to back for the niggas that didn't get the message.
Welcome back. Well, we had a pretty good first half, didn't we, guys?
I would say so.
Christina and Nick totally nailed it, didn't they?
Absolutely.
Nailed
Great
So,
job.
We're going to flip a coin here to see who goes first for quarter number 3 as we analyze who we think will win the Super Bowl. So, Greg, why don't you call this coin to us?
Tails never fails.
It is heads. So, Drew, you will go first.
That's where you're wrong. Just like the Denver Broncos, and just like tails never fails, the Denver Broncos will not win this game.
Ooh.
Watch yourself.
And I'm sorry about that. My dear friend Greg, on my right, your left, my right, your left. I just don't think that they haven't played a team like this all season, especially with the age. I understand where you're coming from with the experience with Peyton Manning, but stats don't lie. And a 13-13 playoff record isn't too good, especially with one ring coming against Rex Grossman only. Peyton Manning just seems to not be able to find himself in the playoffs. I'm not sure what it is, but...
Right, that's a good point. Greg?
Well, I mean, really, for the Denver Broncos, I think the main thing for them is you have to realize that both on offense and defense, they have very powerful weapons on both sides of the ball. As I mentioned earlier, the defense, every position really has a stud player that can make big plays at any point in the game. And on offense, they have a bunch of weapons, too. Peyton Manning didn't have a great year, but to have two 1,000-yard receivers in Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, and two very good running backs, Ronnie Hillman and C.J. Anderson, and Owen Daniels at tight end, this team has plenty of weapons to get the job done on both sides of the ball.
Exactly, and that's a really good point. So we have Drew for the Panthers and Greg with the Broncos. So let's each make a final statement here on who's going to win this game and why. We'll start off with Greg.
The Denver Broncos are definitely going to win this game just because of the fact they have a veteran quarterback that's been in the Super Bowl before. He knows that this is a big stage, and he wants to go out on a high note, knowing that this could very well be his last season in the NFL. And with this type of team, I don't see any way how they can lose this game, no matter how good the Carolina defense is or how powerful Cam Newton is.
Definitely. That's a great point you make there, Greg. Drew?
Though the Denver Broncos defense looks unbreakable, but defenses do break, and I'm sorry to break the news.
Oof. Carolina's defense. I mean, it's really tough, isn't it?
You're right. Last week they looked. The Patriots were able to run down the field on the Broncos, and Gronkowski almost scored at the end of the game. Everyone's on their feet watching. I thought there should have been a flag called. No flag. Gronkowski does not look human. But let's get back to our topic.
I mean, at least we could say New England's not in the Super Bowl this year.
New England's not in the Super Bowl.
God.
But I just think that they're going to need an Uber bus.
Right.
They're going to need an Uber bus. I think the Panthers are just going to send them home real quick.
So that's it for us here in the studio, guys. Unfortunately, as we've come to an end of our fourth quarter, we're going to throw this down to the field for Super Bowl 50. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And now we're going to send it down to the field for the game.
Important and very pretentious.